So you're one of the lucky few at this moment using a Windows 7 phone?
Yes.
And
look, I got one.
so how many of you have the phone already in use in Microsoft?
Oh, in Microsoft globally, I don't know. Since the launch on the 21st of October in Europe and in Asia, and now the 8th of November in the United States, more and more people have the phones. But what you see is that they give priority for the shipments of phones to the retail channel. So we will get phones, but at the moment retail channels will go first. But there's some people who are getting the phones. So yeah.
And so it's available now in Europe already?
Yeah. Yeah, they are hard to come by because they're a little bit more popular than we were anticipating, especially the shops. But
that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, well, that's a nice problem to have, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're using Windows Phone 7 now for a couple of weeks, I guess then?
Yeah, a little bit longer. Before I had this prototype device we use at engineering, so we can start testing the software. And part of my job is getting people enthusiastic about developing for Windows Phone 7, and then you have to show them, of course, the software, how easy it is to start developing, etc. So I'm working with the phone for quite some time now. Yeah.
So we talked into the development a little bit later, but what's your first thought when you started your Windows Phone 7 device? Yeah, what happened?
I tried a lot of other devices as well, of course. So I know the competition, right? And I used Windows Mobile for a long time. And one thing which sets the phone apart from other phones, I think it's different. The user experience, the smoothness is completely different than what we have on the market from our competitors and other phones.
Do you need to reboot the phone?
I never rebooted this device.
So it's always on?
It's always on.
You plug it in once a day at your charger?
It just works.
And
we all get, suddenly you realize how important a good working phone is. And we all struggled with previous phones from us, I think. Of course, Apple reset the standard for smartphones in how easy it is to use and how easy it is to configure. And Windows Mobile just wasn't that good. So the new standard was set by Apple. And I think with this phone we are in the game again. So in ease of use, the ease of configuration.
So what happened? The OS is completely new written?
That is a reset, and they didn't rewrite it, but they redesign it. So they got the different components from in an organization, like Windows CE, compact framework. They used the Xbox guys to write the graphics drivers, the XNA team for part of the platform, the Silverlight team, the SQL CE team. So all the teams from within the organization work together to get this thing built in.
So we're still using Windows?
Yes, it is.
Still Windows.
It's a Windows phone.
Okay, great. And for the customers that use this for businesses, is it you use it for business?
Yes, of course.
So what's that experience like? Are you happy with this Exchange integration, for example? Is it?
Yeah. Well, what you see now is it's getting harder and harder to distinguish between personal and business life, right? People have a really busy private life, they have a really busy business life, they have a private mail calendar, they have a business mail calendar, and they want to combine these two worlds together. And that's what this phone is doing very, very well. It's a consumer device first, with great business components. So we have an excellent Exchange integration, but you can have multiple Exchange accounts now. The calendar can combine different calendars from Exchange, Yahoo, Google, Gmail, or your live calendars as well. We have an Office integration, so you can work with your Office documents like Word, PowerPoint, OneNote. We have a SharePoint connection, so you can take SharePoint documents offline as well.
So do you do that for your job? Do you use SharePoint connections and work with your phone, like editing documents?
Well,
you do that?
I didn't use it yet, but it's a possibility you can use. Yeah.
So, but you told me you are the evangelist for development. So you're more a dev guy than IT pro guy.
Well, I can wear every hat you want, but yeah, at the moment my focus is development. Yes.
So yesterday in the keynote we saw this demonstration where Visual Studio was extended somehow to make Windows Phone development easy.
Yeah.
So what did they show us yesterday? What happened there?
Well, what we have now is that the developer tools for starting developing on Windows Phone are free. You can go to create.msdn.com, you can download the tools, they are free. There's a Visual Studio 2010 Express version, there's a Blend Express a free version as well, there's an emulator. So when you download them, you can start developing your application. There's an emulator where you can test your application. When you have a developer account, you have to buy that from Microsoft. It's an annual fee. You can unlock every Windows Phone 7 device and start testing your applications on that phone. Okay. And when you're finished and you think that this is a great app and the entire world should use it, you can submit your application to the marketplace. We will test your application if it's technically sound, does it comply to the content policies we have, etc. And then the entire world can use and download your application. And the main difference with Windows Phone 7 is you have to think about the user experience. When you look at the phone, for example, when you go to the email client, there's a lot of things going on with movement. You can filter through your mail, like unread mail, the flagged mail, etc. The user experience is really important on this phone. So the hardest part, I think, at the moment with the building apps is creating a really nice user interface. Yeah. So even though it's technically really easy to build an app, thinking about, okay, what are we going to present to the user, how we're going to visualize it, how is this user experience working on this phone. So even though you already have an app on iPhone or Android, for example, you still need to think about, okay, how does this app work best on Windows Phone 7? How does it connect to the experience on the phone as well? So
and are there any guidelines for me as a developer to build an app in case of this experience?
Yes,
so do I need to have this bar on top with all topics we could choose from?
There are guidelines which will explain, okay, how does this work on a phone, how do you use like a toggle button, or we have a panoramic view which I can show you on the phone, and a pivot control. All these controls are available, and we have a guideline which describes how you should use the different controls, but you don't have to use these guidelines.
Okay,
it's,
so it's
a guidance, but you're free to make your application pink and orange and whatever you want. So you can make it ugly if you want, if you think that works for your users. Yeah. In the end, the user will decide what will work or not.
And Microsoft will check those applications, see if they are working soundly, if they are, but they don't check the design then.
No. We don't qualify the apps on ugliness.
On ugliness?
No.
On content?
No. Yeah. Well, there's content policy, so there's certain things you can and you can't do, which are pretty obvious, to be honest. So. No hatred or making the phone break or sexual content, etc. That's not allowed. But that's pretty common in the phone marketplace at the moment for a lot of platforms.
So this is the 9th of November today. How many apps can we download from the marketplace right now?
When you go to with the Zoom client, you can check it out. I think we are almost at 2,000 apps at the moment.
So Zoom is my software?
Yeah, you have the Zoom software on the PC. Where you can download your music, your videos, also applications which will be synced to the phone. Yeah. If you have a Macintosh, there's a Connect software which will link to your phone to iTunes, which is pretty amazing, I think. I wasn't expecting that one, but we did. So but you can configure the phone to sync wireless as well, so you don't need a connection to the Zoom software if you don't want to.
Anything that we absolutely must not forget mentioning now.
You had questions about the management of the phone, right?
Yeah, I'm interested in how do we, as an IT pro, manage the phone that I got from my company, and how do I manage that for you guys, for the employees, for example? So
we get these questions a lot, right? Okay, I have Windows Mobile, I have mobile device manager, servers I have. Can I do that on the phone as well? At the moment we can't. Windows Phone 7 and Windows Mobile still exist side by side. There are some scenarios we do on Windows Mobile we are not doing yet on Windows Phone 7. But we can, for example, do the exchange policies. So when I connect to my Microsoft mail account, I have to set a PIN code. I can do the remote wipe. I can go to windowsphone.live.com and do a remote wipe as well if I don't have exchange. Things like that. So there's some manageability on the phone through exchange policies.
There is it true that you get your SMS text messages you receive on your phone in your inbox in Outlook?
That's an exchange. That's an exchange on Windows Mobile. Yeah, I don't think we have it on Windows Phone. I don't think so. No. We are planning now to do the System Center Configuration Manager integration with Windows Phone 7, so you can manage your phone from that system, but that's in the works. It's not ready yet.
And that will mean that I am able, as the administrator of the network, to install software on your phone?
Well, that's another question. For example, when I go to the marketplace, we get the question a lot. Oh, I want to do side loading. Side loading on Windows Mobile is pretty common. On Windows Phone, you're not allowed to side load an application. Every application is going through Marketplace. So what do I do with my line of business apps? Yeah. So the only thing you can do now is put your app in the Marketplace, have some kind of credential check, and then you can start using it. For example, a Salesforce app would do that as well, right?
Yeah.
What you can see now is that there's a marketplace, there's an LG App Store, apps, games, music. LG, that's the builder, the OEM of this phone, has their own app store. Samsung and HTC will have their own place in the app store as well. In the future, companies will have their own place there as well. So the infrastructure is already in place. It's not exposed and not ready for consumption for companies yet. But that's
for example,
you're
a Microsoft employee, Microsoft could have their own app store for line of business applications for you guys.
Yes, that's a bit possible. That's it should be something like that. So. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that is cool. But then the SCCM integration.
Well, I don't have details yet, but
not yet?
they are working on some kind of management for Windows Phone. It's a pretty common request. But we have, well, it's like with all development things, right? We have so many things to do, and there's so much time to release a product. So we have to choose for the first release. So some things we can't do, some things we can do. I think for the first version we did great. But of course there are a lot of wishes for another version, so we keep on working on the.
Well, my personal favorite, you mentioned it, you don't have to reboot it.
No.
I love that.
Well, and it's a pretty. That should be the case, right? That's normal. And when you get a phone call and you answer it, you just answer it. That's how it should work. So no surprise there. It just works and it's great.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And well. I want one. I want one.
Yeah, you have one. No.
Thanks.
Okay.
Hallo Nederland, welkom op TechEd.
Hi England, welcome to TechEd.
Hi United States.
السلام عليكم مرحبا بكم في TechEd 2010.
Right now we're talking about the Ops Manager vNext product, which is something that we're right now working on back in Redmond, and we're trying to have a beta around the first half of next year and a release around the second half of next year. And we're really working on sort of 3 areas of features that we're working on. One is around a holistic view of monitoring, so that you can really monitor all the different pieces of your environment, right from the infrastructure, the base OSs, DHCP, DNS, your Azure applications, right up to the end user response time. Leveraging new things that we've purchased like the Avocode technologies and other things that really get you the deep insight into the applications, whether they're on .NET or on J2E. The other area of investment is really around lowering the total cost of ownership of owning Ops Manager and using Ops Manager. A few features we're working on there that we've got a lot of customer feedback around is getting rid of the root management server, so you don't have to cluster that management server, you don't have that single point of failure, you can have a set of management servers. And now you can pool your management servers together or pool a set of agents together so that you can associate your workflows and your monitoring to a pool. So if any one of those systems in that pool were to not be healthy anymore, then other agents in that system can pick up that monitoring, which is really useful for the Azure monitoring or for Watcher monitoring or sort of other types of applications that do that sort of proxy approach. No. The third area is really around helping our partners really have the right extension points to build those rich experiences that our customers are looking for to monitor these applications, whether it's SQL or Exchange for Microsoft workflows or for external workflows, right from the hardware all the way to different line of business apps, customer line of business apps, so that they could build the rich views in the console so the customers can interact with their data in a way that makes sense for that workload, really empowering that service owner so that they can reuse the product to really see the health of their applications.
So we have 3 major areas. Let's start with the first one. So we get cloud services more and more and more, and we can have our own private cloud.
Yep.
Does it mean that we have to put our SCOM server in the cloud too?
Great question. So really we're in an approach where we really see a hybrid approach. There's going to be customers that adopt Azure and other cloud-based services earlier than others, and we're going to be really in a mixed environment where you're going to have applications in your own data center, sometimes in a private cloud, sometimes in sort of the existing model. And there's going to be application in the other model. We really feel we need to be able to monitor all of it so that you can really get a view of all these different pieces. So in the Azure case today, the monitoring actually runs locally on premise so that you can get the right information about this application that's in the cloud and bring that back locally into your on-premise version of Ops Manager. So when you have private clouds in your environment, you can monitor those locally, and then you can also use those watcher nodes that today run within your data center. Also, one day will be able to run outside your data center so that you can provide that presence and that end user response time for these users right into one view, right into one console, so they can see the health from all of these different pieces, points of view. And often we refer to it as that 360-degree view of the application's health.
And did you have any, or do you have any, you're still developing that right now, right? So are you facing any technical difficulties in there? Maybe the SCOM agent is taking a little bit more data traffic than you expected over the internet connections, or?
Great question. So right now there's lots of things we're trying to look at is really what are the ways that users are going to experience this data and consume this data? How does it break down in between the different personas that use this? There's always this Ops Manager administrator that's required to deploy the infrastructure and the product and have Ops Manager running itself. But then these separate service owners that own the application or own the piece of infrastructure that Ops Manager is monitoring. What are the right ways that they work together? What's the right data that really enables them in their scenarios? Is it dashboards? Is it alerts through email? Is it things in web consoles, SharePoints, rich consoles? What are the ways that they can really get that data? And you need to manage the noise there, right? You can't give them too much data because then they'll just get overwhelmed, but you can't give them too little. So it's sort of finding that balance to sort of get them what they need.
And so we actually have to think of how we create management packs in the future based on this technical changes we're facing, cloud services.
One of the ways that we think will make some improvements in the way that people have to build management packs for their custom applications today is through some of the Avocode technologies where they don't have to add additional custom instrumentation to their application. They don't have to build a management pack. They really just configure this common set of parameters on how that .NET application is being monitored. And then that can now, in a very common way, bring back information about all of their .NET applications and really empower those IT users to get deep information about those applications and, more importantly, find those problems and give the right data back to the developer without having these difficult conversations where we see today, where IT pro schedules a meeting with the developers, IT professionals sit on one side of the table, developers sit on the other, and they just don't know how to move forward in the set of instrumentation they need, and there's just no common language that they can use to really understand how to monitor that application in all of the IT scenarios.
I often experience when I'm talking to people about Ops Manager, the people that are the Ops Manager administrators, they are obviously not the SQL administrators or the IIS administrators or the Exchange administrators. And I feel that there's a lot of difference in approach on how they look at an application.
Of course.
Right? The Ops Manager administrator says, okay, of course, you need to make a monitor and just monitor that service. And for an Exchange admin, for example, they have a different approach there. But how does Avocode comes in here? Is it because that should make things more easy for us, right?
Yeah, that case, at the line of business owner case, it should make it a lot easier. Now, developers should be able to really be able to get the right information about the problems that are happening in an environment. You know, a stack rank of the most important problems, a stack rank of the most important issues, so that they can understand which issue is most important, which issue is happening the most, which issue is causing the application to be the slowest, so they can invest their time appropriately. You know, not just fix the issues that are maybe easiest or the ones that they know, but they can really invest their time in the right way. So we think that'll help a lot, and we've seen the amount of time it takes between finding a problem in production and solving that problem really dramatically reduced for customers today that are using Avocode because of all that data that they're seeing.
They were already using Avocode because that was an addition to SCOM, right?
That's right.
It was an extension for SCOM.
Yep.
You just told me that network monitoring is something that is completely being renewed over there. So
yes.
we get new management packs for free for
Yep.
Cisco, 3Com, that kind of stuff, or how do how do you see that?
That's right. We're getting a very big investment in the networking side to really help the application owner get enough information about the network and how their sets of servers are connected to the network to understand if the network's a problem. So you'll be able to get state views, vicinity views that show you which computers are connected, which networks, which port they're connected to, what the health of that connection is, what the health of the network devices are. And here at TechEd, we're actually, with an early version of Ops Manager vNext, we're monitoring all of the network here. And we've been showing that in the session. We found some problems in the network. We see some very busy devices. And we've identified some of the problems that we've been reviewing with the network team, showing them the data that we've collected, the data that we're archiving, the tasks that are available, the views that are available, and the dashboards that we built. We built some dashboards, really rich interfaces to show you the sets of devices, summary views, and also detailed views, so that those users can really interact with that data in a very rich way.
Okay, and how do we? Me as an IT pro using SCOM as an administrator, how do I see this network management pack come in? Is that similar to the cross-platform extensions we've seen earlier?
Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar. Essentially, there's a discovery wizard where you configure which devices are monitored. You add the community string. You specify a seed device or a list of devices, and then it just crawls around and figures out what's on the network and sends all that discovery data back, and then starts monitoring it. And it does a really great job of finding the right defaults. So it'll discover the ports and interfaces, but it won't monitor them all. It only monitors the ones that are actually being used, so which ports are actually connected.
The second topic was reducing this total cost of ownership for using SCOM. Was it that expensive?
Yeah, I mean this is an area where we really take seriously. We've got to make sure that the overall cost of operating Ops Manager doesn't raise the cost of now the entire environment. We needed to keep our costs low since we're a monitoring product itself. Mm-hmm. So investing in the management pack, and then helping users with the common topology issues. Getting rid of the root management server so it's not the single point of failure, doesn't require a cluster, was one of the things that we heard over and over from our customers. Making sure that the SDK is available on multiple management servers so you could distribute the SDK connections. So pretty important features there.
So that will mean that all the management servers are now equal to each other, just like the main controllers in Active Directory are?
That's right. That's
and
right.
They all connect to the same database?
And they can all give configuration, which before the root management server was a single sort of point of giving configuration. So now all management servers can give configuration and can take SDK connections and can manage devices. Agents can still fail over, and then pools will even go even further.
Oh, that's great. And how do pools comply with this? So you can create agent pools.
That's
you
right.
told me.
That's right.
So what does that mean? That means that agents look after each other.
So essentially, you can deploy a set of rules to a pool, and we will distribute the workflows across that pool based on the objects that are being monitored by those agents, so that you won't have to choose one agent where those workflows are running. You can associate it to the pool. And before, if that one agent failed or stopped working, none of your workflows would be running. Just like in the cross-plat case in R2. Yeah. If one server is monitoring all of your cross-plat machines and it stops, now you're not monitoring any of your Unix and Linux machines. Yeah. We're working with the cross-platform management pack to have those rules associated to a pool of management servers so they can be spread across the pool, and if any one node in that pool fails, there's not a problem. You're still monitoring those agents. You're still monitoring those systems.
Oh, so that saves you a lot of time reconfiguring your RMS and MSS.
That's right.
Okay, and then we had this third improvement part where we can have partners opt into SCOM more than it already could.
That's right.
Because I thought there was already this SDK.
Oh, sure.
And a lot of companies made connectors for that, and they made applications for SCOM.
Yeah, there's definitely great connectors out there and great management packs out there, but there's still ways that our partners wanted to do more. And they're having to configure a lot of their management packs outside of Ops Manager in sort of different ways, which wasn't consistent for our users. No. And what we're trying to do is enable partners to build their monitoring experiences through templates and allow their different visualization pieces to be customized through dashboards. so that they can show the data as it makes sense to that particular workload.
Well, Vlad, thank you very much for this useful information. I'm
Great.
looking forward very much to the beta of it.
We are too.
Opt me in, right? I want some.
That's right. That's
okay,
right.
well,
Great.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And have fun at TechEd.
Thank you.
Okay, who are you?
I'm Richard Custons from Sage UK.
And who are you?
Mike Goodwin, also from Sage UK.
And how was TechEd for you this year?
Excellent.
Really good.
And did you have some favorite sessions?
I think the Vittori Bertocci, the Windows Identity ones, I think he's just an excellent presenter, so really enjoyed his. Been all three of his.
Okay, and how about you?
Azure Data Marketplace. Brilliant session, brilliant technology.
Okay, thank you very much. Have fun.
Thank you.